In answer to your summons, I, Brian Boru, High King of Ireland and Saber Servant, have come. Be glad and give tribute, my master.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Anime Void. I'm Brian, your host, and today I have made my own fan servant. As you saw in that little intro, this is Brian Boru, Saber Servant and High King of Ireland. And this absolutely fantastic art was done by the amazing Kama, who you can find over on Tumblr and Instagram in the links in the description below. And honestly, I really do mean fantastic and amazing. This came out just as I was picturing it. It is so amazing. The detail, the shading, the abs. Those abs. He's great. And Kama's great. She is amazing. But I cannot spend the entire video gushing about the art. You came here wanting to learn about this servant, and therefore just the history. So, get ready, it's time to learn. Brian Boru ruled as High King of Ireland from 1002 to 1014, and is regarded as the last great High King of Ireland. Every High King after him is usually considered to be more of a figurehead, where it's just a title rather than have the power that Brian Boru and some previous other High Kings possessed. He was a big, uniting, and also divisive force in Ireland, but for the most part he did unite Ireland and repelled a Viking invasion from the north, and is just a massive, massive hero in Ireland. He is very, very well regarded nowadays. And while his rule as High King was only 12 years long, he was actually King of Munster from 978. And furthermore, he was actually born in 941. So yeah, anyone who can do quick math right now, he was over 70 years old when he died in medieval Ireland. And from my cursory knowledge of medieval times, that's damn impressive. To live over 70 years. And he died in battle. He died in a fight at over 70. And while yes, some of you may know that that's not technically correct way to say it, it is also technically not the incorrect way to say it. Point is, he wasn't actually strong enough to fight in battle. He was on the back lines, kind of just watching over everything, and Vikings found his tent and killed him there. So yeah, he wasn't on like the front lines or anything, but this is the Fate version of him we're talking about. So yes, in Fate terms, he was on the front lines at like 74 years old, fighting to the death. And that's the way I'm going to think about it for this character. So with that brief overview out of the way, let's get into more specifics and tie it in with his abilities. I'm going to be talking about these abilities and Noble Phantasm in Fate Grand Order terms, because I feel like right now that is the easiest way to convey information for a Fate fan servant. Just treat it like I'm going to put him in the game. So his first skill is a special twist on Golden Rule. It is Golden Rule Tribute Rank A. Now, the reason why it's changed is because as High King of Ireland, other kings were subjugated to him and paid him tribute, to the point where he is known as Brian of the Tributes. So, receiving tributes from kings is a big part of his lore. So what this ability will do is increase his Noble Phantasm gauge, but also will randomly remove a single buff from a king on the field, either a king enemy or a king ally, and then apply that same buff to Brian. So he takes a tribute from the king forcefully and applies it to himself. And I love this ability mostly because I think of the interaction with Gilgamesh. Like, Brian Boru using this ability on Gilgamesh is a hilarious image in my brain. He would be so upset, and I would love every second of it. Skill 2 is called Last Great High King, rank EX. As I said, Brian Boru is regarded as the last great High King of Ireland, and that kind of status has a power in and of itself. That makes you a legend in your own right. Even if Brian Boru has no myths or legends attributed to him directly, it's really mostly just fact whenever you look up anything about him. He is still legendary in and of himself. A historical legendary figure. And that makes him somewhat immortalized. So to emulate the immortalization and the power that title gives, he gains invulnerability and critical stars, as well as an increase to attack and buster efficiency. For the invulnerability, it probably won't last an entire turn. It'll probably only last like one hit. And with the stars, it'll probably be a set amount rather than something that grows over the course of the leveling of it. But definitely, like, the meat and potatoes are the attack and the buster boost. That's what grows over time, and that's where he really goes home. Now, his third skill is called Symbol of Ireland EX. And my idea behind this one is that Brian Boru has this harp. You can look at the currency in Ireland and so many other things, and even Guinness. They have the symbol of a harp. And it is usually called, well, I'm not 100% sure on the Guinness one because the harp is backwards, but still, it's an Irish brand beer. And Brian Boru's harp is considered a symbol of Ireland, one of them at least. So I decided the idea behind this would be to extend that. To make Brian himself the symbol of Ireland. And in broad terms, what I feel like this would do is that he doesn't get the negative effects of not having a home field advantage when summoned in a Holy Grail War. When he is summoned, he is Ireland. Sure, you may not know who Brian Boru is outside of Ireland too much, but you know Ireland. Ireland is the thing that exists. If you know Ireland, therefore you know Brian Boru, because Brian Boru is Ireland. It's that kind of conceptual nonsense that I really want to play up with this skill. And what this will do is give Irish allies on the field increased attack, increased critical damage, and increased noble phantasm damage, so that they can benefit from being on a home field advantage just by being close to Brian. If they're near him, they're near their homeland. So therefore, they get that boost. And for his noble phantasm, I call it Erregobrak, which means Ireland until the end of time. And I probably very much mispronounced that. I'm still actually in the middle of learning Irish, so my pronunciations are going to be trash. But you still have probably heard of it before. A more anglicized version of it is Erregobrak. And the idea behind this noble phantasm goes back to his third skill, where he basically is Ireland. So, his noble phantasm allows him to summon forth Irish heroes from across time. Sure, pretty much all mythical heroes he has nothing to do with. But again, he's Ireland, so he can call them forth. He acts as a catalyst to call these warriors forward. And also the phrase Erregobrak was coined centuries after he died. I know this, but I'm doing it on purpose. It's to show the timelessness that Brian is as a heroic spirit. Ireland is forever. And he will embody that by bringing his time, the future, and the past all together in this noble phantasm to show the might of Ireland against his foes. And in game terms, what it does, it deals heavy defense ignoring damage to all enemies. And its overcharge effect is that it adds more damage based on how many Irish allies you have on the field. So, yes, this is meant to be a very, very heavily damage-based character that is really all he's kind of there for, to just beat down. And sure, you may say this is OP as hell, but I swear to you, probably a month after I make this video, the Lightworks is going to come out with a servant that makes this look weak. Hell, even some servants now, this seems par for the course. Because, yeah, the Lightworks is going stronger and stronger with their servants as time goes on. So I won't take people saying this is overpowered. Things are already getting crazy in the game itself. And that was my fan Saber servant, Brian Boru. What'd you think about him? Make sure to tell me down below. I'm very interested to find out. And yeah, you know what? I do have extra plans for this. This is not the only fan servant I have plans for. I have 6 more. And I don't plan on just making videos about them. I'm not going to go into too many details about what I want to do, because a lot of things are still up in the air, still working things out, have to talk to a bunch of people, get everything settled. But there is a plan in the works for my 7 fan servants. And if you're interested in seeing what those plans are in the future, you better be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let me know. And if you're interested in helping me move the plans along, please consider supporting me on Patreon. All the links are in the description below. And talking about the links in the description below, do not forget to check out the artist Kama, who helped me with making Brian Boru a reality. She is amazing and deserves all the support you can give her. But now, with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and hope to catch you next time in the void. Later.